Good morning, Alexis Love Beauties and Flawless Man. Reading from our daily bread and the Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verses 3. As the apple tree among the trees of the wood, so is my beloved among the sons. I sat down under his shadow with great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. Dear God, I am lucky to have a soulmate. One must be strong and able to be happy alone. Of course, it is a profound comfort to have a partner with whom I can share joys and hardships. My husband and I have been together many years now, and we have grown together in love, trust, and intimacy. Being strong for one another has given us each courage. We support one another as individuals and together. And I enjoy his company. I feel lucky, Lord. My husband is a gift, and I praise you for this blessing. I'm going to just say how, well, not being too personal, but the whole love thing, like I really don't talk about, I don't really try to get into relationship advice or anything relationship wise. It's just another conversation for another day, but I'm going to leave that there. The Song of Solomon is a beautiful testimony. I remember, I haven't read a lot from there, but I remember reading one day, like decades ago from Solomon, and it was beautiful. Like, I'm going to go and read from Solomon because I believe he has a lot of beautiful, the part I read from, it was talking about a relationship, and it sounded like Solomon had a woman he was pursuing, and he just had the most beautiful compliments. I mean, that day I read that, I was just, my heart melted. It was like somebody was talking to me. When you get time, I encourage you to read in the Song of Solomon, because I believe that is a book that is just, can teach you compliments and just how to be grateful for someone. I think that's like a love book, but I will do my extended research and we will talk about him later in our relationship. As an apple tree among the trees of the wood, so is my beloved among the sons. I sat down under his shadow with great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. To me, that is a beautiful compliment. The person in their testimony is saying how she is lucky to have a soulmate. She is blessed to have a soulmate, but before you can get to the part of mating with someone's soul, before you can get to the part of being in a relationship, you have to be happy alone. And then when you come together, you'll be able to enjoy more of the hardships in a relationship. When it comes to relationships, like I said, I really don't like to talk about this stuff, but I'm trying to soften my heart a little bit more with that part in my life. When it comes to a relationship, what I have just learned is, you know how like sometimes women will go above and beyond. That's our nature. It's just our nature because we are created to be a nurturer and we're created to be the help for that man. So we can be giving so much time and so much help to a man that we're not supposed to, but it comes to us natural, and no man should not be taking advantage of that. But what I'm learning is when we talk about self-love and boundaries and respect and all of these words, that is real, which is supposed to be our lives. We are supposed to be these things and doing these things by ourselves first. Oftentimes we look to get that happiness and that validation from someone else. But I've realized how hard it is in a relationship, because if I'm depending on him to tell me that I'm beautiful all the time, then it's something in me that doesn't believe that I'm beautiful. I have to already know I'm beautiful before this man even pursues me. And that way, when he gives me the compliment, it's just icing on the cake, but the cake has already been baked. We have to already be things before we get in a relationship. A relationship is not supposed to be creating you from the dust of the ground, because we've already been created by God. So we're supposed to come into the relationship already having these things, and not going into the relationship and somebody is building us, somebody is recreating us, somebody is responsible for healing us, or we're already supposed to be in position before we even get with this person. That way you don't become a burden on that person. And they said that, of course, you want to be with someone, but You want to make sure that you're able to be alone first. If you get with somebody and you have never been alone, then when it comes to a hardship in that relationship, it's going to be easier for you to cheat because you don't know how to go through things by yourself. You don't know how to suffer. You don't know how to endure. You don't know how to long suffer by yourself. So when you get with me, you're not going to know how to long suffer with me either. And that's going to bring us down. I've seen this like 1,000 of times. And it makes a lot of sense. It's a lot of things that make sense about relationship. I don't know if y'all can tell I'm still going to upload this podcast, but it's just something I don't like talking about. But I'm learning that we just had, and even me just saying that, like, I don't want to talk about that, it's just something that I have to work on because obviously something has happened or I think a certain way about something that needs to be fixed. So me right now, it's not the time for me to be in a relationship when I feel uncomfortable or don't even want to talk about relationships or being with someone in general. So obviously I need to be alone first before I can talk about that. I believe the perfect relationship is first one that God put together, but God is not putting nothing together that he didn't work on. So the Lord wants to work on us first. That way we don't go into something, not knowing something, not knowing how to do something. Something that I am learning behind the scenes is I can just speak from a woman perspective because I'm a woman. Literally, when the Lord says he is our first love, ladies, and he tells us, well, he's the first love of man as well. But like I said, I can give this example from my perspective of being a woman. When the Lord said he is our first love, he is responsible for helping us to feel loved and to feel beautiful. God is responsible, not the man. God is responsible to take care of me first. God is a man. So some examples of some things that I've been like experiencing with God in this, relationship, because it's a relationship with him as well. One thing I realized when I was talking to people, I would I get angry, man. I get so angry if somebody crossed me in communication because you already know the type of person I am. Like, you would think that people been around you for so long. You should really know how I am. You shouldn't be disrespecting me. You should know I'm a communicative person. You shouldn't be lying. And the moment that somebody do something wild, I'm ready to throw hands. And sitting with the Lord and having him to train me how to be a woman and to be a lady. The whole arguing thing is just a no for me. I don't like to argue in general. It's just always been a no. But with a man, it's easier to argue because it's like, dang, you supposed to be wise. Like, how don't you know that, right? So I'm expecting him to know things that he don't, that he should, that I possibly should have known, that he probably didn't know just off meeting in general. But that's another story for another day. So some things that the Lord has been teaching me is when you got a little attitude, you need to go sit down. Period. Like, the attitude ain't gonna get you nowhere. God, a whole spirit, he ain't responding to nothing. So when I have a little attitude now where I feel like, oh my God, like I cry in the car. Now I still talk to God. I used to not talk to him. I'm gonna just be real. I used to not talk to God. When I had an attitude, something going on, I'm like, listen, you don't even deserve that type of energy. I'm not even about to pray to him, da da da. But when I would do that, I would realize how worse it got. So in this relationship, I'm asking you to train me in the way I should go as a woman now, because my parents gave me what they had. He's telling me you need to breathe. You need to take a step back and you need to think before you respond. That is a trait that I'm getting from God in my alone time. So now when I go out, we ain't thinking about that no time soon. But when it's time for that, then the things that the Lord is teaching me, I would know how to respond to a man in real life. I'm not about to argue with no grown man. It's not happening. So now I know, because the Lord taught me that before, if this man say something wild or if I got something wild to say or something wild, because of being in that alone time with the Lord, now I know to think and be quiet first. Like, be quiet. Like, did you really hear what he said? Or are you just going off the handle? So the Lord will teach us those things. I know that might sound cliche, like, oh my God, he gotta teach us everything. Yes, because he knows what we're supposed to be doing. And he talks about that all throughout his word, how women don't even supposed to speak. It's a certain way we're supposed to carry ourselves. It's a certain way we're supposed to speak about, like, we're not supposed to be doing all of the things that we're even doing. So the Lord fights for us. He speaks for us, and he will do just that. But a lot of the times we've been so, like they call it, our masculine energy, in our survival mode, we don't know how to be quiet. Now, let me tell y'all what I learned from watching TV, because I ain't no TV person. I just started watching TV probably like a few years ago. But my whole life, I would rather go play with a doll or something before I watch some TV. Everything I'm seeing in the movie, the only reason I started like taking a mental note of that is because I seen it too much. And then I realized I actually end up doing it in my life. So it's a tip that I'm using in my life in general. In the movies, I had realized it would be a situation. Now, these be the good movies too. It'd be a situation to where something had happened with the wife, like somebody in her family, usually a female. And she would tell her husband, everything perfect in the beginning, relationship good, she good, they traveling, they living good. But as soon as something happened, she'll tell her husband, like, hey, babe, something happened with my sister. I want her to come and live with us. Something happened with my mom, my auntie, my cousin, my grandma. And I want them to come live with us for a little bit. And every movie I've seen, this happened like more than 10 occasions. On every single movie, the man will say, I don't think that's appropriate. How about we get them a hotel room? But the woman, oh no, they can't stay in a hotel. In every movie I've seen, these people is like millionaires, some type of successful doctor, business owner. And the man will tell them, we can afford to, get them a room. We can get them a penthouse if we want to. I even seen one movie, the man was like, let's just buy them somewhere to live. And the woman would say, no, I just feel like. And every time that man fell into that woman, like, okay, like Adam, like, okay, let's go ahead and eat the fruit. Okay, let's go ahead and let her come. Even though he knew first, God told him first, no, she don't need to live here. But because he fell into that woman, because she's other half, she persuaded him to let somebody come stay in the house, and now everybody got killed. Or now she cheating with the husband or something like that. We be needing to listen. And I know when we talk about submission and all those different things, we don't need to just be under the rulership of any man. But a man of God, when we know that and we know who he is, we need to listen to him. If he say no, it's no. If he say you need to be quiet, you need to be quiet. You have to know when to be quiet. Like the Lord said in Proverbs, a foolish man is even counted wise when he hold his peace. So you can't tell the difference between a foolish man and an ignorant man if they're in the same room, if they both quiet. We have to get these things from the Lord. The Lord literally is training us up in a way we should go as adults. A lot of times we might not have got that relationship advice from our parents. So, like I said, we can hear in my voice, we can see in this episode that it's something with Alexis in relationships to where she just like, bruh, I don't even really good love and joy. So clearly she still has some work to do to where she can't be out here talking about, oh, let me get a soulmate, because she's going to sabotage something. We have to be happy alone. We have to be strong and happy alone. We have to allow the Lord to train us and teach us like he did with Ruth, put us to the side and show us these different things, because he don't want us to mess up that relationship. He don't want us to be Eve and turn away his king and then have him doing some wild stuff. The person in her testimony is saying they've been together for years now, her and her husband, and they have grown together in love. There is still things that you had. And when you love yourself, then you'll be able to be in love with someone else. I never believe when people say, oh, we fell out of love. What? It just still be something going on with people. You ask me, I believe in the perfect relationship. Just period. I always have. It's been kind of like sabotaged a little bit. That's why I said I have some work to do before I start. Because the way I feel about it is not the way I've always felt about it. So that's some work that I have to do. I believe you can grow together in love and stay there for the rest of your life. The Lord is not putting these units together for them to be broken up. He said, "To death do us part." This person said, we have grown together in love, trust, and intimacy. There is things that you do alone and there's things that you do with a person. But more than oftentimes, there is a lot of personal work that we have to get done first. That way we can take that pressure off, that burden of expecting somebody else to be responsible for everything. You're not responsible for anything but what we built together. Glory be to God. You're not responsible to heal my childhood trauma, to be my counselor, to be my therapist, to be my maid. When we get together, we're responsible to help each other. This is something else I learned. Just because you cook and clean and you take care of kids and you know how to do this, a man on that level, a man with the same spirit, your soulmate, he's going to do that same thing. It's not just, oh, she know how to do this, so I'm just going to let her do this. Now, that is how a foolish man think. Because if you burn me out, then what? You sitting here, let me do everything every day, cooking and cleaning every day, massaging you every day, praying for you every day. And you ain't even lifted your breath to say, Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, I ask that you will bless my girlfriend, Alexis. So all of the energy that I'm pouring out, that's what you call a one-sided relationship. It's not supposed to be like that. We're supposed to grow together in love. That is something that we have to learn. We have to learn trust, because a lot of the times trust have been broken. Trust be broken in the communication stage sometimes, but sometimes we like to overlook that. It's time out for overlooking. It's time out for giving people passes and saying, well, he was tired, so were you. That's what I'm learning. Well, he didn't mean it like that. He going through things, so are you. Ain't you going through something? Because, see, I'm learning when you allow somebody to play with you like that for a split second, they're going to play with you like that forever. And then they use you up and then they discard you when they're done. We have a lot of learning to do, some of us, as far as how this all goes out for real. I'm going to tell you one thing, and I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. The reason why I wanted to see, like I said, we've talked on this channel. If you're new to this channel, just know we keep it a buck. I had my whole mind wrapped around, I'm not talking to nobody. I'm not doing no relationships. I'll just wait till I get married at the age of 30 because I'm not about to get played like that. So what I'm going to do is just be a whore. It's going to be easier to protect my peace. It's going to be easier for me to protect my peace, to protect my heart, and any other thing that comes with a broken heart if I just be a whore. That is the way that I've thought. That is the way I've lived probably up until about, 26. And that was just a few years ago. I've thought that my whole life. Now, around the time of like 26, 27, I wasn't so loose, moving around. But I began to say, this ain't getting what it's supposed to get. Let me chill out. So I chilled out. I did. I'm a whole different woman today. In the name of Jesus, glory be to God. But the mentality of thinking that is wild. And then the moment when I wanted to, step out, like, okay, I'm getting a little older. Let me see what this is. The couple of times I did try to date or talk to somebody or whatever, a strong delusion. But me going out them first times, I wouldn't have known that if I wouldn't have tried that, because my whole life I was in the horror mentality. So it's like, I don't have to look out for these things. Now, getting in the field, knowing what it is, knowing how not to judge women. Oh my God, how did she stay so long? Why was she thinking like that? Now I can relate. So I would never talk about a woman or judge her. I ask for forgiveness about that. Because now I had to go through that to know. Because I'm thinking, well, why everybody just want to be whores? You getting beat on, you getting cheated on, you getting STD. You might as well just be a whore. You ain't got to worry about none of that. Just be a whore and take care of yourself. That's foolish. And don't take that as advice. I had to just be wise and say, you know what, Lord, give me the wisdom that you have about this, because this is not the way you intended it to be. And then going and learning from Jeremiah. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna tag the videos in here. Y'all know when we did that, why the Lord is upset about men and women being whores, 7-part series. It took like a month. Do y'all know I was so messed up behind the scenes? Because the Lord had redirected everything that I thought was true was a damn shame. And Jeremiah, this man described my whole life in 52 chapters, and I was absolutely disgusted. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. To think that you know something and you don't know nothing, to think that you know, I could just be a whore, and then the Lord turn around and tell you a whore is why you ain't gonna make it in. You can be a good woman, you can be happy all the time, blessing people, praying, but then you learn that being a whore is the number one reason why he'll say, flee from me. I never knew you, because that spirit of Jezebel, y'all, I was so messed up in them series, I ain't gonna lie. If you look, you can tell throughout like the different videos, the different emotions going on. My bad, y'all. I ain't mean to make this long, but I already know when it be coming to these type of conversations, they be going. But I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go in a few minutes. Yeah, so those series were, they hit so hard like that because behind the scenes, I was really getting chewed up. The Lord was really on my head because Jeremiah is my whole life, and the Lord was explaining how being a whore can get your life took. And I've seen that in real life too. Like, oh my God, like why need you be questioned? Like, oh my God, like why, da 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 da, because you're not in alignment. I encourage you, Lord have mercy, to first teach your children, if you have children, teach them about that, because that's not cute. That's the easy way out. That is so the easy way out. Man, I'm sitting here thinking about it right now. That's not, it's not it. It's not it, y'all. Look, we'll talk about relationships later. I will check myself. I will check my attitude. I will get myself together. Thank you for listening to this whole podcast episode. When you get time, I encourage you to read the Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verses 3, and just know that if you've had bad experiences with relationships, it is only because we need to learn. We may have not had a role model example, from the Lord. When we go and read, we will see that it is true. Abraham and Sarah, the prime example of a faithful relationship, growing together in love, having a child at the age of 100 years old. And if you believe that to this day, it can still happen, because we think, oh my God, my childbearing ages, people out here having kids at the age of 60, healthy, beautiful, and still alive. Alexis Beauties and Flawless Man. Love is a beautiful thing. I pray that you would do your extended research with the Lord and ask him to create in you a clean heart and renew the right spirit within you. Ask the Lord to bless you with the information that you need to be the woman that you need to be the man that you need to be. Not just the Proverbs 31. It goes more. There's more to Proverbs than just 31. That's another thing. We be so stuck on 31. What about 1 through 30? There is wisdom. The Lord teaches us how to be the perfect men and women that he wants us to be. And he puts those soulmate relationships together. I love you. God bless you. And I pray the best relationship.